So we also wanted to talk, you started talking about some of the other topics that come up, but we wanted to give the audience a taste of some of the other things you discussed. So whoever wants to jump in here and talk about some of the others. We talked about, whether or not to breastfeed in public and what are the other things you talk about?
Child rearing.
Yes.
Okay.
Child rearing is a big topic,
Good
a hot
topic.
button topic for us. Do you discipline? How do you discipline? What's okay? What's not okay? And everybody has their different views. Like in my house,
Right.
I'm not beating no child. Too big for all that. Could have really hurt them. So they got to do physical activities. They got a punching bag in my garage. You got 2 minutes on that bag, and you can't stop punching, or else then we have to go something else. Whether you're 18 or you're 3, the rules are all the same. So, but that's a hot button topic that comes up where it's like, well, why do you do that?
Right.
Well, this is what I think works. After being a child who got spanked a little bit more than most.
Same generation,
Just,
brother.
it's that generation. Hey, that's what it was. But for me, I had to find something different. And for me, I didn't want to do that. That wasn't the avenue I chose. So I went with this, where other people do timeout. I don't agree with timeout because you just give them free time to do what they're going to do anyway. So, my thing is pain resonates. And if you realize you did this to yourself, you'll start to think before you do certain things. So that's one of the topics that have come up.
Finances.
I
was going to
say
that.
Finances.
Finances is huge.
Okay.
And what I've come to realize about finances, it's not so much the finances, it's the communication.
Right.
So when people start talking about their finances, oh my God, my husband ain't did this, oh my God, my wife hasn't done that, why she got a separate bank account, why he hiding money from me? It just comes down really back to communication. If you can't be transparent with your spouse and talk about what's really going on, everything else is just symptoms of what the bigger problem is. So it comes back to that. You got to deal with that issue because that's why the rest of them are coming up.
And
Right.
it's nice when we have these topics because then you can get other people's point of view.
Sure.
And maybe something is really working that you didn't think about, you
Right.
know.
Right.
It really opens your mind like, hey, we should probably try that.
Absolutely.
And see if it works for us because, like we said earlier, one thing that works for one person may not work for the other. But sometimes it does work.
Right.
Sometimes
Absolutely.
that's, a constant that like communication.
Yeah.
You have to have that.
Right.
There's no way around it in your marriage if you want to be successful. So that's one thing that everybody has in common.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think one of the other things that we talk about, I know the Queens talk about it a lot, is like being a submissive wife. Because we haven't talked about God yet, but we do talk about, where God is in our relationship and how we all look to them. And I know I've talked about myself personally, how I'm a work in progress. I think I am submissive to my husband to a certain extent, and I know that's wrong. And so my fellow queens have jumped in and said, yeah, that's wrong. And so I get myself personally ideas as to how I can be a better submissive wife to my husband. And it's not being submissive to the fact that I let him walk all over me.
Right.
It's he is the head of my household, and I follow his lead. Now, as a wife, we all know that we have certain ins and outs of how our husband lead us. So that is one of the things that my queens are helping me with, is how I can say, all right, you're going to lead. And then I can put a little bug into my husband's ear and have him think about, where our direction is going, and we lead to, he leads and I follow together with him. So that's one of the things we talk about. I think a lot is being a submissive wife.
Yeah, that's a big topic.
I was going to say
Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say the terminology, some people have problems with it and require, more information, more clarity, someone to sort of spot them through the process.
I know I had a problem with it. I'm like,
A lot of
submissive, that is
people
a
do.
curse word,
Yeah,
right?
a lot of people do.
What are we talking about here?
Yeah, I mean,
But it really is just allowing the head of your household to be the head.
Absolutely.
Like everybody has a place. You need to stay in your lane.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah, if both people fighting over the wheel, that's not a good.
No, we're
Right.
Course
crashing,
of action.
crashing
And
every
it's,
time.
it's also a give and take submission, because I know
Yeah.
sometimes my husband needs to submit to me because maybe I have a more or a better understanding of this area
or
than
more
he
experience
does,
in
or
it.
more experience. You know what I mean? So it's not just me saying yes, sir, yes, husband, and so on and so forth. It is
Right.
a joint togetherness that we both kind of submit to each other in depending on what the situation is.
Right.
And like I said, I think that's a great point. And when I was talking about submission, because a lot of times, depending on how you grew up, I grew up in a household where, pretty much what my dad said, that was it. You know, I could come home and ask, hey, Mom, can I go here? Can I do this? And whatever your dad says, you know, and Tia grew up, you know, in a family that was probably a little bit different. Her mom, you know, was the one, she was a female, her mom took over, you know, her mom was the one who she had to ask because she knew certain things. And so for us, it's like, I grew up in a household where, you know, my dad's word was law. You know, not like he was like that authoritative, but my mom she just grew up like that, you know, whatever your dad says. And, you know, so we had to talk and we had to come to an understanding of, okay, this is how we're going to, you know, run our marriage. And this is how, you know, and even talking to some of the other guys, seeing how, like, I love to cook. You know, Jay loves to cook. And so we talk about,
He's not lying.
no, I mean, but we talk about that stuff all the time, you know, and we look at it. Some husbands, you know, they don't cook. Their wives may cook, you know, and I enjoy cooking. He enjoys cooking. We'll talk about food, you know, and we'll, you know, like get ideas, you know, stuff like that. But that's how our marriage runs. And, you know, it's not wrong, you know, but it's what works for us.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we keep our marriage going.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
that's how we keep everything, you know, like finances. I may be better with finances, you know, so I do most of the finances, you know. Some other marriages, it may be a little bit different. You know, she has to calm me down sometimes because I'm cheap. You know,
Frugal.
I'm frugal. I'm sorry, frugal.
Frugal.
You know, so
Cheap is good.
she no, and so I kind of got her stop spending as much money, and I spend more money. You know, she makes me have fun. You know, and one of the things she said is we're not going to work hard and then not go on vacation. Before we got married, I didn't go on vacation. I just worked and tried to save and try to do other things. And you know, and being around people, like even in this group, you know, you'll see people going on trips. You'll see people doing other things. You'll see, like, you know, people going on, like, even just doing different things that gives us ideas. Oh, we can do this. And you know, and so sometimes you might not even ask a question. You may just pop on the page or something like that on the Facebook page and see what another couple is up to, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's interesting. Let's try that.
Because people
That's
post
good.
their date nights.
Yes.
So, like, if Ibn and I are going somewhere or another couple is going somewhere, usually they'll do like a selfie, you know, or a couple picture, and then they'll say, like, out with my spouse here or wherever. And it's like,
Right.
oh, that's a great idea. I've never been there, you know. It's really cool.
I'm loving this discussion. It's very enlightening and fun and encouraging. You know, it's a positive thing, very positive. And I was sitting here and I said, you know, these guys really got my interest in this. You know, so if that date ever comes for me, you guys make room because I'm coming on board.
We only have about 5 minutes left, so I want to give you guys a chance to tell people. You mentioned the Facebook page. You have a website also, or just the Facebook pages? Okay.
Oh, and we have a book
The
coming
book.
out.
Oh,
Yes.
the book. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Talk about the book.
Who wants to go?
Go ahead.
Okay, so we are writing a book. It's a compilation of marriage stories. I believe it's 12 couples, and we're all telling our story from our point of view, our successes and our failures, what worked and what didn't. And we're very honest and very transparent in the book. And I'm so excited about it.
Yes.
We have a flyer.
Yeah.
Then
Can we get a screenshot of the flyer? So yeah, they're going to get a screenshot of the.
So we're
book.
so excited about it. It's coming out in February, and it was nice. We kind of came up with the idea because we want to help more than just the people that are in our group.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to share your story, and we have our challenges and stuff, and ways that they can keep it fun and date, and you know, just enjoy being married. And also all of the challenges that come along with it.
Right.
You know, so we discuss everything like that in the book, and every couple's different. So it's nice because some couples are blended families.
Yes.
How do you deal with that?
Right.
You know, how do you deal with, you know, your insecurities that you brought into your marriage? You know, how do you make those work? For Ibn and I, how do you deal with, you know, parents that are divorced? Both of my parents are divorced and his. So we don't know a successful marriage. You know, you kind of just, we're going along, you know, trial and error, just like you said. So it's like, how do you deal with situations like that? All of your family history, your background, all of that plays a part into who you are and how you handle your marriage. So
Right.
it's nice to have a panel it's almost like a panel.
It is. It really
Yeah.
feels like
Of
it.
couples and their stories. So it's really, we're excited about
And
it.
we also talk about like things that we do to keep it fun. You know, like I know Jay and I, when we talk about conflict resolution, in the book we talk about how we use a video game to solve our communication and our conflict problems. So it's also like each couple kind of gives like their own tips as to what they do to kind of help out this particular situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead, Jay.
I think we're writing a book. One of the things I learned was I learned a lot about my wife and the way she viewed things. I think the book helped out a lot with that because it was things I didn't know that she didn't tell me, I didn't tell her.
Right.
So I think it was a good thing.
Well, I want to make sure that we get the information out to the viewing audience tonight. Tell them, please, where can they get the book, and how much do they need to, pay for the book?
As of right now, the book can be pre-ordered.
Okay.
The website is actually going to be on the flyer that you guys are showing.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if they caught it, so
We'll
if you
actually
could
put
just.
it on the clip, too.
Okay.
Yeah,
but,
it's
but if you could say it. for
Pre-order
those-
is $30. What is the actual website to order from? can't remember off the top of my head. But
If you don't know, don't worry. It's
No, hold on. Give me a second.
While you're doing that,
While
you
you-
went through all the trouble to find out for us. We do want to mention that the shortest couple's been married about a couple of weeks,
Couple weeks.
and the longest couple in your group has been married 25
25
years.
years.
So that's fantastic.
Yes.
What were you going to say, Charlotte?
What I was going to say was while they were trying to figure out the thing, the book could be pre-ordered for $30, and with that pre-order, you get a ticket to our launch party, as well as a couple other amenities that we're offering at the same time. We're working on a CD to go along with it, as well as a DVD to go along with it. So if you're a person who doesn't really read too much, maybe you can pop in the CD and listen to it as you're going to work, or sit down with your spouse and actually watch couples talk about it together.
That's
okay.
fantastic.
So I have the
the
website.
website is?
kmfexperience.eventbrite.com. kmfexperience.eventbrite.com.
And Bright is BRITE. We will make sure that's on the segment that we upload. You guys, this was fantastic and a lot of fun.
Love it.
Thank you so
Love
much
it.
for
Thank you for
joining
having
us
us.
anytime.